Here, folks. This is Finn from Ethelmark. The class today is basically shot. What's the correct word here? Shot power. I was going to do my intermediary class, which is head wrap, leg wrap, cross cut, and armpit. But then I found myself starting more towards the power generation. I didn't teach it in my basics class. I didn't teach it in my shield class because I wanted to just stick with that part before you got into how to generate the power correctly. At least in my opinion, correctly. Because there are always exceptions to the rules. There are always guys that basically throw shots great with enough power that don't fall into what I'm going to be teaching. But for the average fighter, especially medium build on below, I feel these are things you need to have correct for you to be able to throw enough power on your shots and not just having surface hits. Because your shots should always be pretty much 3 inches through your opponent, at the least. I see way too many guys, myself included, that we're throwing the shot, before the shot's even landed, we're already backing out. We've caught on film. I've been having issues with guys taking my leg with my leg wraps. Sometimes they are fine, sometimes not. Caught on film last week why I'm having that issue. And a lot of it's because I'm throwing the shot, before it lands, I'm already trying to bail out of whatever my opponent's doing. Or I'm not trusting my defense to protect me. So I'm trying to get out of the shot. So all of my power is going that way. Your power needs to be going through your opponent. Not just the sword, but you. And all this is my belief. So there are probably going to be guys that say, no, that's crap. You can do whatever. And maybe it works for you. For me, and for a lot of guys I know, it doesn't. So you've got to, first generation doesn't start with the hips, doesn't start with the shoulders. It starts with your feet. Your feet is what drives everything. It's basically, you go from bottom to top. So, let's see if I get back far enough here. So, let's say I'm going to do this from a Michael Bedford stance. So, pretty much your weight's on 70% on the back foot, 30% on the front. Sometimes it's more on the back. It's not usually ever more on the front. So, but I can usually do this in Michael stance. And you'll see me do that when I'm doing Michael stance. Because I'll sit there and go, okay. But any shot I throw from here should, not saying it does, I'm saying it should, because I definitely try to get away with crap every once in a while. But should start at the foot, so you're going off the ball of your foot. And yes, his style does go more off your heel. Starts on the heel. So you're off, your weight's on your heel, maybe midfoot, but it drives to the ball. Your foot drives your hips drive your shoulder, your hand comes out. When doing this style correctly, the foot generation thing works in every style pretty much. You don't have to use any arm strength. Your body is generating enough force usually to make any shot good. So flat snap. So even if I'm moving around. Now granted, if I'm moving around, I'm on the balls of my feet. Well, let's say I'm doing Michael stance. So set up, we transfer to the balls drive the hip drive the shoulders. All my hand's doing is guiding. So on the pedal, close enough. So no arm strength whatsoever. All my arm is doing is guiding on this. That's it. You don't have to use anything. As far as use your big muscles, not your small muscles. It's the same with the offside. Even the offside, drive that hip, drive the shoulder, boom. Leg snap, same thing, same shot. Going from the heel to the balls of the foot, balls of the foot's driving the hip, hips driving the shoulder. All your hands doing is just guiding. Wraps are a little different. You're still doing the same motion. I mean, you're still generating all your power and speed with that. I don't throw as many head wraps for the simple fact of my height. Tend to get blocked too much. But the same thing with the leg wrap. Going off, roll, drive, hip and shoulder drive. But it's that foot that's rolling and driving. If you do this, your power should always be going forward. That's kind of how we figured out, watching tape and just knowing what I was doing. I wasn't doing this on contact. Even if I'm moving. So let's say, move, and now I'm on the balls of the feet, but it's still drive, boom. So, too many times, myself and I see others, what we end up doing is, okay, we throw our shot, oh, they're doing something. Before you finish this contact, you are already, you've transferred most of your weight to this foot. Oh, I need a bell. So you might hit, it might even feel okay to you, but 9 times out of 10, all you did was surface it. There's a difference. Okay, correct? Incorrect. And it's probably very little difference in sound. It's hard to tell on video and all that kind of good stuff, but that was definitely more of a surface instead of driving. It was that, because you're belling out of the shot. So yeah, you're connecting, and it honestly still kind of feels good on this. But just try it. Just try it on your pedal. You'll see, you'll feel, even though this feels good, you can tell you're not driving through your opponent. Because that's basically stopped you from being able to go through to here. Because you've now got full extension. So try it, work on it. You just need to get through your opponent. I mean, wraps are notorious for that. Cross cuts, notorious for, instead of, oh, okay, I do more of a chop cross cut, designed to hit more here, or even here if I can get it. So it's more between the hip and the side. But even with that, I'll catch myself doing that, which I'm not sure how well you can tell on video, but instead of going forward with my shot into that area, I'm taking a side step and reaching. So now I'm at full extension. Where here, I've still got everything, arm's still actually slightly bent. I still got more to be able to go to here. Where this, I'm full extension there. I might go an inch, possibly through my opponent. And if he's not wearing any body armor or very little body armor, I might get him to take it. If he's wearing anything solid, like lamellar, stuff like that, it's probably just gonna shirk right off. So, but what most people throw on the crosscut is this. Even this one. You need to throw and drive that hip through. Now granted it's the opposite hip, but driving that and coming off the hill onto the ball to drive through, but people have that tendency to do this. They're already, instead of finishing that shot and then backing out, they're going here and they're doing that on the way out. So all it's doing is, it's like, yeah, it's still doing this, but all the power is now going that way, backwards, instead of that way through the leg. Because your opponent's leg's there, which is what you're trying to get to. So you're trying to go boom and generate the power to go through it. So just keep that in mind on your shots. And sometimes it might just take the simple fact of, you know what, I'm gonna get clobbered some, but I've got to work on staying put to make sure my shot connects before I get out. That's one of the things I'm gonna be working on soon. Well, hopefully this Thursday we'll be able to practice. But is that I've gotten into a bad habit of getting in, throwing my shots, or even if I'm starting my shots, going boom, and especially like my cross cut or my leg wrap of, I'm doing that to get out, or I'm doing, pop that to get out, because just not trusting my defense. So tighten up your defense, take your lumps, but make sure you're sticking around to generate your force through your opponent, not back away from your opponent. And that should help your power generation if you're having issues with it. And don't go off of, this isn't going to sound exactly politically correct. Life goes on. Everyone knows there are different levels of fighters. What I teach my guys and what I stress to folks is don't create your shots, don't throw your shots for the lower level guys. Now, if you're just starting, look, you will take whatever you can take. But once you start wanting to climb that ladder and get, and I don't care about if you want to be a knight, I don't care if you want to be a master. It's more of when you want to get to that level of, I want to be kicking people's ass. That's what you need to do. If you never get knighted, if you never become a master at arms, so be it. Who cares? If you're kicking their ass, really, does it really matter? And yeah, I know, coming from a knight, it's easy to say it from this side. I thought that way before I became a knight. As you can probably ask some of the knights who were knights at that time. I really didn't care. It wasn't a problem. The only thing I cared about was a situation that happened after I moved up here. But that's whatever. Don't worry about that. All I cared about was beating the guy across from me. That's all that mattered. It was that and winning tournaments. It's like, yes, I know, winning's fun. You're not, I know everyone's kind of has that, feeling of, it's just, the company, just being out there is fun. It's like, no, yes, that is fun. Winning's a whole lot of fun too. So, and I try to stress that with my guys. It's like, no, you don't win it at all costs. You still take what you feel is an appropriate shot. That varies on people. It's our system. It's just the way it is. I go back and forth on sometimes looking at how the Bohort guys do it. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Like ACL, IMCF, BOTN, and how their single fights have judges. My only issue with that is they have to be properly I'm not so worried about the honor part of being a judge, because I'm sorry, I've watched enough boxing, enough MMA. It happens, whatever. But we have a hard enough time with our marshals being properly trained just for our system. And technically all our marshals are supposed to be our basically safety guys, at least in this kingdom. They're not supposed to be calling shots. Now, if you ask them how that shot landed, they go, yeah, it landed on edge. It did move your helm, unless you moved your helm with it. They can tell you those things, but they shouldn't be. In our kingdom, they're not supposed to be calling shots. They're there for safety. And if two guys have decided that they want to just throw their honor out the window, that's their call. And the marshals can step in at some point. You go, look, you guys are now being unsafe. Go cool down. Or, you know what, take a hike. You're being jackasses. I'm sorry, a little tangent. But on the power generation, you got to go through your opponent. There's very few guys that can be backing out of shots and hitting with enough force. And one of the things that was drilled in my head was why, either from all of my knights, or just some of the guys I grew up with, was why leave any doubt? It's your job, it's their job to take the shot. It's your job to give them the shot that there's no doubt. That's how I was telling my guys, don't call shots. It's your job to hit them. It's their job to take it. If they don't take it, oh, crap happens. Because honestly, there's so many different things that can happen between your shot landing and them feeling it. Because honestly, half the time on my leg shots feel hard to me. I feel like I'm crushing the guy's leg half the time. And they're calling light. And these are guys that I trust beyond a shadow of a doubt. And if they're calling it light, it's light. So what am I doing wrong? Everything to me feels like I'm crushing it. To them, they're like, eh. And these are guys in metal, in the McDavid or Zoom Bang pants, maybe just some strips of leather. So it's all up and down the range of what guys wear underneath their armor as armor. And I'm getting all these guys at different times going, that's just not hard enough. And on my end, I'm feeling like it is. I'm feeling like it's above being hard enough sometimes. Which is one reason why I love being able to start videoing all my fights, is that now I can look at my fights going, no, you're backing the fuck up. That's why. Sorry, I'm cussing. Bleep. So this is why you need to work on this stuff. Don't leave a doubt in your head and in theirs. Sorry, I had a little bit of ramble at the end. I'll make sure I note that in the video that I ramble a little bit at the end, but it's maybe worth listening, especially if you're new to a fighter. But thank you very much. Hopefully next week will be the intermediary class, but every time I try to start that one, I start going off on a tangent on something that is like, ooh, this is important, I need to do this before I do this. So, which is how this came about. So, thank you very much. Now I'm going to go do my Pell work for the night. What time is it? That's not too bad. So, but thank you very much. Have a good night. And now I'm going to turn this off and then turn it back on so I can start my video for my Pell work. All right, have a good night.